Have you ever found an old mysterious book in your attic or library? Well, if you have, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was this one book that had its pages changing on their own. Yep, you heard that right. Its pages were changing on their own. The book was written in a language that I didn't understand, but it didn't stop me from reading it. I mean, how could it stop me when the pages were turning on their own? It felt like something from a horror movie, but here I was, in my very own house. The first few pages were filled with strange symbols and diagrams that I couldn't make heads or tails of. But then the text started to form, and it was then that I realized this book wasn't just any book. This book wrote itself. I watched in amazement as letters and words appeared on the page before my eyes. It was like watching paint dry, only 1,000 times more exciting. At first, the writing was slow and sporadic, but then it picked up the pace, and the words began to flow. I read on, mesmerized by what I was seeing. The book was telling a story, but it wasn't just any story. It was a story of things that were going to happen in the future. Like a premonition, the book was showing me visions of events that were yet to come. I saw images of people I knew, places I recognized, and events that I knew were going to happen. But there was one thing that I couldn't understand. Why was I being shown these things? Was this book trying to tell me something? Or was it just some kind of sick joke? As the pages turned, the visions became more and more intense. I saw car accidents, fires, natural disasters, all kinds of horrible things that could happen to anyone. And then I saw my own face. I saw myself getting into a car accident, being chased through the woods by a madman, even being attacked by a shark while on vacation in Hawaii. It was too much for me to handle. I closed the book, but it was too late. The damage was done. I couldn't stop thinking about the visions I had seen. Were they real or just a figment of my imagination? I didn't know, and that drove me crazy. I tried to put the book out of my mind, but it was no use. The visions haunted me day and night. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was a wreck. I knew I had to do something, but what? Then I had an idea. Maybe I should write down the visions. Maybe if I got them out of my head and onto paper, they wouldn't bother me so much. So I got a notebook and started to write. I wrote down everything I had seen in the book, every vision, every premonition, and as I did, I felt a sense of calm come over me. It was like releasing the visions from my head was also releasing them from my heart. But then something strange happened. As I continued to write, the notebook started filling up with more visions. Visions not of things that had happened or were happening, but of things that were yet to come. Things that I hadn't seen in the book. Was the book influencing me now? Was it somehow controlling my thoughts and putting visions into my head? I don't know. What I do know is that I couldn't stop writing. I was compelled to write down every single vision, no matter how mundane or insignificant it seemed. I wrote until my hand cramped and my fingers bled. But I still didn't stop. I didn't want to stop. Finally, when I could write no more, I collapsed on the floor, exhausted and drained. But as I lay there, I heard a voice that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The voice said, "You have done well, child. Now it is time for you to rest." And then everything went black. When I woke up, I was in my bed. The sun was shining in through the window, and birds were singing outside. It was a beautiful day, a perfect day, and yet I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Something was very wrong. I got out of bed and stumbled to the bathroom. I looked in the mirror and what I saw made me gasp. My reflection was gone. In its place was a blank white void. And then I heard the voice again. This time it was closer, so much closer. "You have served me well, author. Now it is time for you to go." And with that, the world went black once more.